Hi everyone, this is Sean and I want to welcome you back to the channel. Today I want to talk about one of the healthy habits that I think is really important for people to get involved in. And it's really simple. It's nothing more than the habit of actually writing down your thoughts in what we call journaling. And you see behind me, I've got lots of different journals here. And we're going to talk about some of those and to do them. But journaling, let's talk about what it is first. Primarily, journaling is simply whatever you want it to be. When I first started getting into journaling, and I'm still on that journey, is I would struggle with, well, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I put this stuff? What kinds of things? You see, I've got lots of hobbies. I mean, I hunt, I go fish, I camp, remote control planes, miniatures, I run a company, I read. I mean, there's so many different hobbies that I have. And I really got hung up at one point thinking, you know what? I need to have a journal for every single hobby I have. Well, that was just unrealistic. So, what it was is I just simply decided, let's just pick up a journal and just start writing. It didn't have to be topical. It was a journal of my life and my journey through this life amongst all my fellow humans and those experiences that I get to have along the way. So, why do people journal? I think for me, and that's all I can speak to, is it's really contemplative. Big words here for me. It's a very contemplative process. I sit down, usually for me at the end of the day, and I write down what happened, good, bad, or indifferent. It could be good thoughts that have happened, could be bad thoughts that could happen, could be ideas that I had, could be ideas that I'm thinking about doing. And it just gives me a method by which I can pour out what's in my mind and in my heart and in my soul onto pen and paper. And let's talk about that for a second of how to do this in one way or the other. And there's lots of different methods. And I'm the first one to tell you, there are no rules. Simply pick up a journal of some kind and write down what you're thinking or what your thoughts were or what happened to you that day. What you got to do. It could be nothing more than just a recanting of what you did that day. And I think you'll find it extremely valuable. So, but the most important thing is there are no rules. You don't have to do it in a certain order. You don't have to use any certain color pens. There are lots of people on YouTube. You can go see them and in bookstores of all kinds of different kinds of journals. And I want to take a few minutes to talk about a couple of different types and why and how you would use these ones depending on how you want to use them. So the first one that I want to talk about is typically what I would consider my life journal. This is a journal. It's hardback, leather bound or whatever. And one of the things I like is I really like journals to have this little tab in them. And the reason why is I can flip it open. And this is my one for this year. I can flip it open and I can write. Start right on the page that I'm at. And so I'm going to read you just a little entry I wrote from earlier this week. Working on day 3 of Time of Your Life. It's a Tony Robbins class on time management. And I'm struggling with roles. Having a hard time articulating what I really want. Is it because I see failures if I dream? What's the hang up? Not my best day by far. Oh well. So the thing for me is that I just write what I'm thinking. What I felt throughout the day, how I felt about the day, where my struggles are. I put the date on it so I can kind of go back and look. I write in different pens sometimes. And so this is just what I would consider my life journal. Now I have a couple other ideas on journals that I think is kind of cool. And that is carrying one of something like this with you. This was from Write in the Rain. It's a universal weather pen journal, sorry. And I really like these small flexible ones. See this? I can put this in my back pocket. I can put it inside of a coat. And the idea is to always take a journal with me. No matter where I go, if I'm going to a business meeting, I'm going out into the woods, I'm going just on traveling on a plane, in a car, wherever I'm at, I always want to have a journal of some kind with me. I may not have my life journal with me. I usually typically do that at home or at the office, or if I'm traveling, I take it with me. But I like these because this gives me the opportunity to sit down and write or have an idea. Ooh, I've got an idea for a new YouTube video, or I've got an idea for, ooh, there's this new bait I heard about, or somebody says something on the radio, and oh, that sparked an idea for me. So I want to take an opportunity to write that down. Because as you find, the older you get, it gets a little harder to remember stuff. And at my age, you get a little harder to remember stuff. And so it's nice to be able to write stuff down. Now, Another crazy idea for journals is there's lots of different ones. So I'm going to pick on a couple of my hobbies. So there's fishing journals. Well, why would you write down a fishing journal and write down, well, in that one, I actually leave it in my boat and I write down what fish I caught that day, what was the weather, what was the water temperature, what was the wind like, what time of the year it was, what baits I used. Because then I can always go back and look at those and go, oh, you know what? I'm going to go back fishing again in March. I went to this particular lake. Let me look it up and see what I did. Another common journal we have, I actually leave it in our RV that I camp in, is I write down stuff about the particular spot that we went camping at. So I'll write down in that journal the campsite. If we go into a state park or even a RV resort, I'll write down what slip number, camping spot number we were in. And was it good? Was it bad? And then my wife and I, we always walk around the campground at night, just getting our evening walk in. We love it. It's quiet and you can see the stars and stuff. But we'll notice other campgrounds and we'll notice, ooh, that spot's better than this one, or this one's no good. Definitely don't reserve that one. So when we're looking up why to go on trips and where to go and what we go, oh, Robbers Cave here in Oklahoma is a great spot. You want to make sure you get spot number 15. Okay. Or get number 16 if that one's not available, or definitely do not get number 3 so that we can look at those and when we do our planning. Another one I do is whenever I go hunting, I'm looking at, what's the weather like? Where do the animals come from? What direction's the wind blowing? This stands better than that one. I mean, there's lots. I even have stuff for YouTube. And so there's lots of ways to use it, but I think what the most valuable piece has been for me so far in life is my life journal. And I'm going to give you a couple other tips of how to use this. So sit down, whether you like to do it at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, throughout the day, however you want to do it. You just write down your thoughts. And some people like to do electronic journals. I'm not really a fan, and there's a reason why, is because I want to see the emotion in when I write. If I am writing on pen and paper, I don't know, there's just something about it, that tactile feel of writing. It also forces me to slow down, forces me to think, be contemplative about my thoughts. And so I begin to write my thoughts down. And I promise you that if I'm pissed off, I bet I'm writing really hard on my pad, my journal. If I'm happy or I'm in a hurry, I'm going to notice all those things just by how the ink and stuff flows on the paper. So, journaling is can be a little bit intimidating because you're thinking, what do I do? What do I say? What do I write about? The most important piece is this journal is for you. And the reason why I say it's for you is that this gives you a way to sit down, spend some time thinking about where you've been and where you want to go. And it gives you time to contemplatively think about those and to process your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings and just your overall state of being. And the other really cool thing is, let's say at the end of a year, you got a journal and you have one for a year, because that's kind of how I want to do mine. And I look back, I could go back and look at that journal. I could see where I've been. I could see the progress I've made, or I even sometimes have been able to identify a common thread. That, wow, I've done this same stupid thing for like 4 years now. I think I probably ought to fix that. And in the moment, I didn't recognize that bad habit or whatever it is that I was doing or struggling with. But I recognize it at the end of the year when I go back and go, oh, let me go through that journal. And, wow, I think I read about that last year. Go grab that journal, look through those. And you end up with a stack of journals, over time. And the idea is just to use it to help you. There are no hard, fast rules. Nothing I've said in this video is mandatory for anyone to be successful at journaling. The only thing is just do it. Just sit down, take some time. Your notepad could be, Big Chief tablet, whatever. It doesn't matter. Pick up a journal, write it down, and write your thoughts. So I hope this was helpful for you. I know journaling has been a remarkable experience for me so far. It is a journey. I can tell you right now, I start and stop all the time. I've got journals that I look at and go, wow, I hadn't written that journal for like 3 weeks, and then I didn't touch it again for 5 years. But I know I committed again this year and even some of last year of I'm going to write a journal almost every single day. I may not do it all the time, but my goal is to write in every day. My habits are right at the end of the day, but the bottom line is you pick what works well for you. Thanks again so much for taking time to watch this video. I appreciate your time, and this is Sean saying, I'll see you next time.